Hello, everybody. Today is Thursday, so that means it's time for the Under the Cowl of MS podcast. I don't have too much exciting stuff today, so it'll probably be a pretty quick one. Not too quick, I always rant on. Talk about some comics and stuff today, but yeah, not much. Haven't been really watching much on TV other than like Acorn TV, watching some of the British shows with the wife. The the Australian the guy's name is Darby, but uh, she's kind of a inspector style gal, and he's an ex cop, and she came to Australia to kind of like find out what happened to her ex, her husband or whatever. That went disappearing the first season, and then the second season focused on a bunch of stuff with Darby's people that he lost. Uh, Ex partner that got shot and stuff. He got shot, all those things. And they're investigating that while coming across other murders and stuff that they'd end up getting on the case with. It's a fun show. I wish this season would have been more cases, and it's like the one case kind of loomed on through like 3 episodes. So it's they shortened this season. Season one was 8-ish episodes. Season two is only 6. So I was worried that they weren't going to come back with a season three, but the way it sounds, all the fans and stuff are ranting for it. So hopefully they'll come back with a season three. I like, even though I can't. Damn. Eyes look like shit. They're just very puffy. I don't know what's all going on. I went to the eye doctor. Found out I got a big old cataract in this eye that I gotta get removed. But for some reason, this eye's got like a spot right here that's really sore. Like someone punched me in the eye with something that stabbed me right in that area. Like a punch or something, and it hit the eyeball in just the right spot to injure it. Don't know what happened. I don't know if the wife that she was in a boxing match while we were sleeping one night or something. Who knows? Can never trust the wife. My wife. Uh, but yeah, my eyes are really buggy this morning. And they got me soaking them with a hot washcloth when I get up, and then got these drops that I got to put in throughout the day. They don't do anything other than clean out the eyes. They're like tear producing ones and stuff like that. No medication or anything in them, so I can take them as many times as I want through the day and shouldn't bother me. But then I wonder why I got this damn sore spot all of a sudden, especially after all the people dying of eye drops, going blind from eye drops, and all that in the past year. So never know if she gave me a bad case of drops or what's going on there. Then I wanted to start painting again yesterday up in my room, and I got a guy coming to do some work, so I wanted to vacuum the staircase because he'll be working in that area. So I was doing that, and my vertigo is terrible. I was freaked the whole time I was vacuuming. I just felt like I was gonna fall backwards or fall forward, go down the stairs, and the staircase is taller than normal because of the downstairs being the vaulted ceilings. It makes And because of that, just going upstairs, that staircase is probably about half a staircase larger than our old staircase. And then we got a light hanging halfway down the staircase up in the ceiling that has a light bulb out of it. It's like, how the hell am I supposed to change that? It's like, you can't put a ladder on the steps. So I don't know. Might have to live with that one the way it is, but see what I can come up with if the damn electrician would ever get a hold of me. It's like 2 months ago he came to do the walkthrough. It seems like he hasn't called me with the quote yet, so I don't know what's going on. I know he said it was going to take a little while. Really busy, but we need work done too. So, but other than that, the house is everything's here now. Just got to get it from the garage to the house. Got the last of the comic boxes that I have CLZ'd are in the truck. Probably pull those out tonight and get them upstairs. And then I can just focus on bringing the shit from the garage into here. We can go through it, put stuff we don't need right now down in totes in the basement. And then I can start going through my comic collection and organizing all that, which I will be doing on video and stuff. Showing that off as I work on organization and deciding what more comics I want to sell. Get rid of. I don't know what. Might be hazelnut. This tastes like some very enjoyable tasting coffee today. I have to figure out what pack the wife opened. Last few days were or the last few weeks, the coffee was, tasted like it was mixed grounds. Okay. The second hand in your watch is some Ripley's Believe It or Not stuff. See if there's anything fun. We got Sir John Floyer. He's an English physician, lived from 1649 to 1734. Not too bad. 80 some years. Was the first to discover the varying pulse rate in humans. Constructed his own special pulse watch, which ran for exactly 60 seconds and enabled him to take his patients' pulses. Floyer's pulse watch was eventually incorporated in our conventional timepiece and still serves as a memorial to Floyer's discovery. So the second hand in your watch is a memorial to his discovery. Luzon, the largest of the Philippine Islands, 40,000 square miles, including the Philippine capital of Manila, was named through a misapprehension. The Spanish discoverers inquired about the name of the island from an aborigine seated in a rowboat. The native thought they were asking what he was doing and replied, Luzon. We are rowing. So I got the name. The population of Earth increases at the rate of 30 million a year. Every 12 months, the increase is sufficient to populate a country the size of England. Yay. More and more idiots are. A pet duck lays half eggs. His name was Daffy. He's owned by Larry Stone or Stoey in California. Never heard of a duck laying half eggs. Are they half full, or are they actually half the shell? Dang it! Fly got in. Got the door open for Lemmy so he can go in and out. Don't know what that is. The oldest glove in history was worn by King Tut 3,300 years ago. There's Sir John Foyer. Yeah. Again, nothing too exciting. I wish I had something to show off, and I do have the Necronomicon out, and I wanted to get it all set up today. But yeah, thing. The battery compartment needs a screwdriver, so I'm gonna have to get one of those to do that. Let's talk about an important comic of all time. The last one was Amazing Fantasy number 15, I believe. I believe. But no, I think it was Detective Comics number 27. Hey, we're gonna talk about that one. Amazing Fantasy number 15. They have it priced out at $6,700 to $12,000. I think it's a little higher now. Amazing Fantasy number 15 presented the inaugural appearance of the first of the new archetypes of the Silver Age, Peter Parker, in his costumed identity, the Amazing Spider-Man. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created this offbeat hero in the final issue of the failing Amazing Adult Fantasy, the self-proclaimed magazine that respects your intelligence, with a story coming from the unique approach of what a teenage nerd would do with superpower. Lee and Ditko took it to a more realistic and human bend, to a level beyond what had ever been done. Here was a character that had human problems and self doubts, even to the point of considering giving up his role as Spider Man. Spidey. Many of us grew up with Spidey as our first love for comic books. I know he was mine. Then he also became, in the later years, a little whiny, a little sniveler, done by certain people. And of course, his girls and all that, his friends and the issues with them. Basically, a high schooler, teenager, troublesome kid. We all were. The whole approach to the character was unique in that it had a contemporary feel about it, one which young readers could relate to, while on the opposite side of this coin, Spider-Man also set a trend best described in calling this issue the first of the teen angst books. The story begins with young Peter Parker, an extremely intelligent young man who is unfortunately known as a professional wallflower by his peers. A professional wallflower. While attending a science exhibit on radioactivity, an accident occurs where a spider in the wrong place at the wrong time is bathed in radiation and bites Peter. Later, jumping out of the way of an oncoming car, Peter discovers he's acquired the proportional strength of a spider, as well as clinging to the side of a building. His new abilities allowed him to leap about, enhance his strength, and let him climb walls, the attributes of a spider. He creates with his nerdy science, no one is going with his nerdy science, no one is going boss him around anymore, and that from now on he's only looking out for himself. Should be no one is going to boss him around. And these writers, I find a lot of mistakes with their writing. For something that's about books, you'd think they'd be better at it. Oops, I think I jumped a paragraph too. I screwed up here. I screwed up too. So yeah, that's why. All right, let's reread that part because I read it wrong. I'm blaming someone else for my own mistakes. He creates, with his nerdy scientific mind, web shooters, devices, which spray a sticky web like fluid. Parker soon discovers he can peddle his abilities in front of a television audience for cash. Dressed in the colorful identity of Spider Man, Peter, returning home from the set, is rushed past by a man fleeing police. A policeman yells to him to stop the thief, but Peter Parker is so self absorbed in his sudden popularity, he refuses to do anything. He tells the cop that no one is going to boss him around anymore and that from now on he's only looking out for himself. You still need to put the word to between going and boss. So I thought maybe reading it the right way would have helped. But no, they still did screw up their writing. All right. And quite possibly the most ironic and well known twist of fate in comics history, Peter returns home to find his foster father, Uncle Ben, murdered in a burglary attempt of his home. Dressed as Spider Man, Peter hunts down the criminal, only to find out that the thief is the same man he could have stopped as he returned home from the TV show. Driven by guilt and realizing the error in his judgment, Peter Parker learns the lesson that every superhero realizes and what every supervillain chooses to ignore. Great power comes great responsibility. The significance of this book is readily apparent. Over the years since his 1962 debut, Spider Man has become a household name and Marvel's, if not the Silver Age's most popular character. His first appearance in Amazing Fantasy number 15 and its contemporary mood set a stylistic trend in comics for many years, as well as spawning off into titles such as Amazing Spider Man, Spectacular Spider Man, comic and original ill fated magazine, Web of Spider Man, Spider Man, Spider Man Unlimited, Marvel Team Up, and countless crossover appearances. Spider Man also introduced readers to many of the classic members of the Marvel Rogues gallery, including the Kingpin, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Vulture, Sandman, as well as launching the comic careers of Vigilantes, Punisher, and Venom. Spider Man provided Marvel with another building block And between the success of the young character introduced in Amazing Fantasy 15 and the Fantastic Four, it was made possible for the mighty Marvel superhero machine to dominate the Silver Age with the most original stories of its time. Yeah, there's another one. I better put a little mark on here so see me rereading some of these. Not remember doing them. My wonderful dumbfound brain. But yeah, that was our important comic of all time to talk about this week. Uh, I'm enjoying those. Hopefully, anybody that watches is. It's fun seeing the comics that people are still chasing to this day, trying to get their best deal on. And I don't understand why. And I get making investments on stuff. The comics are so easily damaged. It's sad when you sit there and all of a sudden get water damage or there's a fire and they hose the house down and the water damage that gets into things or mold damage or storage damage or there's so many things that can happen. I don't understand. I understand the obsession with wanting the original items, but nowadays when they have these beautiful facsimiles that come out with the same advertisements in them, the same everything, just not your original paper, not your original product, not an item that's worth tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever. I myself would rather have the facsimile that I can read whenever I want in nice, new, crisp edition and not have to worry about the original getting damaged or something happening. All it takes is that one oops mistake or someone touching something that they don't know anything about or I mean even things like I've had some beautiful items that got damaged from sun fade. I mean, you gotta keep them away from windows and stuff like that, and the sun can easily fade products. Yeah, it's. I would rather buy gold and silver, coins, and stuff like that. That even a fire isn't gonna damage. But yeah, when you just got a paper product, I've lost so much over the years. And then getting screwed by people too. It's like, yeah, we had one of our houses, all our stuff in our basement got water damage. Lots of collectibles and stuff were down there. One house we were in, for some reason, we didn't know that a closet was leaking, and that's where I kept all my weapon collection. I had a lot of swords, a lot of knives, a lot of cheap ones, but a lot of collectible ones also that I picked up throughout the years at flea markets and stuff like that. And sadly, that whole closet got the water damage and rusted all my knives and all that. So I did the best I could with what I had, but most of it just ended up junked. Well, I didn't junk my knives. I keep the metal, but you can't sell them as they were. Now they're just pretty much scrap. You can grind them down, do all that, but then you're damaging the actual product, so it loses its value. You're gonna leave me already? That was quick. Then I had an auction house that advertised that they make sure they get you the best price, whether they use all means between the auction house, their store, their online presence, all that stuff. So I'm like, all right, they're in a bigger town, they're a bigger auction company. I gave them one box truck full of stuff, a lot of our collectibles, and probably about 120,000 comics the first time, and the second time probably about 80 more thousand comics. And of course, not long, a few weeks after this, they came and got the second box truck full. They filed bankruptcy, and I couldn't get my shit. I didn't get shit for money from them. I lost all that stuff. And then I see at the auction show, it shows one of the big auction houses, and got damn wasps flying around in here now. Letting all kinds of bugs in with the door today. But there was this guy up around that area of Wisconsin that was on that auction show that had boxes upon boxes of graded comics. And I could have swore that was my collection. And he just took it in and got them all graded, and a bunch of them, and just had tons of them. And then that auction house sold them for him. And it's like, just, I caught that like a couple of years after the whole fiasco with the bankruptcy that they did. And it's like, yeah, I would not be surprised if that wasn't my collection. That guy had, because I had, and I mean, 5 to, there were a few comics that there was like probably 30, 40, 50 copies of. And there were a lot of key comics that were in that collection. And I just, yeah, it's just so sad. So sad that I did it that route, but I couldn't. We kept every time we moved, it was more storage sheds, more moving of this crap, trying to figure out where we could get it. And then, of course, the one storage shed we had, we didn't get it, couldn't get into it one winter because the guy didn't plow for shit, and we had a weird rainy, freezy winter, and we had water above the base of the storage unit, and it froze solid, so we couldn't even get into our storage unit. And he never salted or did anything to, like he said he does, because the idiot lives up north and just comes down here once a month or so to check on things and collect his money. So that sucked, because by the time spring did come, all the bookshelves in there had mold. And thankfully, all the comics were in bags, but I still had a bunch of damage. Basically, over the years, I could have paid for my house, I could have paid for my vehicles, I could have paid for everything, and had money left over, and had lots of great collectibles, but stupidly allowed someone else to touch my stuff, and then they destroy it, steal it, and screw you over as soon as they can. But I don't know. See, I told you I'd get on rants, and wouldn't be as quick a show as I thought. It still pisses me off to this day. The company name was called Bumble Puppy. That was the auction house name. If anybody's curious, the people, let me know, because I can't find them. I had the lady's contact still after they filed bankruptcy, and I did contact her, and she said she was going to be sending us final checks out and stuff. And of course, that was BS. Because if you file bankruptcy, you don't send nothing. File and hope nobody comes after you after you're so you can start fresh. Start fresh and screw somebody else over. It's the way this world works. All right, my comic shout out for this week is going to be Toxie Team-Up. A Toxic Avenger movie came out not long ago, which I still haven't seen. They started a second Toxie run. They started a Toxic Crusaders run now. They got this Toxie Team-Up. The first one was he was teamed up with Jesus. I can't remember who he was teamed up in the second one with because I'm reading all these different stories, so everything's crossing over in my brain. But this one was him Toxie teaming up with Acid Chimp. I don't remember Acid Chimp from anything, so I'm not sure about that character. He might have been part of the Toxie team up thing, but Toxie's all excited because there is a band coming to town that he likes, and he wants to go see them. So he's getting set up to. In here, as like when I opened it, I'm like, okay, why is there multiple stories here? And it's like they got Toxic Avenger and Acid Chimp by Bryce Ingman, Sandy Jarrell, and Rob Steen. And then they got the Daily Jed episode number 117, Entering the Snake Pit by Hannah Behedry and Carol Lay. And then a brief history of science fiction by Keck W. and Steve Conley. So I'm like, what? I thought these were just single issue runs and with a single storyline, but then I seen that I'm like, well, there are 3 stories in this one, but they have a variety of different things in the back. Free to check out, but Toxic Avenger, the world's most grotesque fighter for justice. Acid Chimp, a cute and cheerful primate who lives to splash corrosive acid. Together they are Toxic Avenger and Acid Chimp. But yeah, Toxie's telling Yvonne, his girlfriend, who isn't blind in this one, if you're used to the Toxic movies and you aren't reading any of this. She wears glasses, kind of looks like her and stuff, but she's not blind, which I'm kind of bummed about. It's like you're taking a little thing away from blind people. I mean, she actually, I thought she was a cool character. I liked her. Um, it was weird to me that they took that concept away from this whole new Toxie line. And they make Toxie look really cartoony and funky looking, but he's growing on me. But yeah, Acid Chimp, they go to the concert. He runs into Acid Chimp, and Acid Chimp starts throwing acid on Toxie, and it starts dissolving Toxie's concert shirt. And then we see that uh, the Toxic Chimp is just waiting for the band to start, and he's got a little attitude going on, and he starts throwing acid in people's faces and stuff. It's like that's kind of uncool. I don't know where he gets the acid from. I don't know if his body produces it, but his vial is full of acid a lot. And we find out that there's this company doing this fracking, and with the fracking going on, there's all kinds of problems happening, and that's why Yvonne, Toxie's girlfriend's against the concert, didn't go to the concert. She can't stand this guy who's organized the concert in his building, and while they're doing the concert and stuff, there's some cracking going on, and you see the rumbling happening and like earthquakes and stuff. People are trying to figure out what's up with that. And then our very strange Groucho Marx type band comes out, starts jamming out, and all of a sudden they fall through the floor because of the fracking and the rumbling going on. The floor gives out on them. Acid Chimp uses his acid to melt away a bunch of stuff so they can see where the band members went, and Acid Chimp and Toxie go down to save them, see what they can do. And yeah, Chimp does not talk. Chimp leaves notes when Chimp have idea. He does not. The one reason that he threw the acid on Toxie in the beginning and other people, Acid Chimp does not like being called a monkey. I forgot about that part. That's why Toxie got that. Uh, but I'd like to see more with these two characters. I definitely want to learn more about Acid Chimp. I hope there's prose stuff that they're talking about in the beginning. It's like, good morning, listeners. You are tuned in to yet another episode of the Daily Jed, the only local radio show that gives you all the Jed based news that the mainstream media is too cowardly to publish. As always, I'm your host, Jed Weldon, and before we dive into things, I just want to give a shout out to our longtime listeners here at the pod. Without your patronage and support, we just wouldn't be able to keep the lights on here at Jed headquarters, especially after that nasty letter from our landlord. I also want to shout out our sponsor, the local legends at Teddy's Budget Breakfast Burritos, without whom your humble host would be forced to report the news with dangerously low blood sugar levels. Teddy's where you don't need to break the bank to break your fast. And it just goes on like a radio show. And then there's the brief history of science fiction in the back. It's like every time I see this ancestral recall, all I can think of is Magic the Gathering. That's a new comic coming out from Ahoy Comics. I'm kind of curious about it. I don't know if that panda is a live thing or if it's just a stuffed panda that she's taking around with her. There's the Toxic Crusaders and the Toxic Avengers new run. Dang. Ahoy Comics has a bunch of collected editions of stuff I don't remember ever seeing. Now, Deadweights I was going to check out. Edgar Allan Poe's Snifter of Terror I wanted to check out. Billionaire Island, Babs, Con and On. Bunch of different ones. Hashtag Danger. Snelson. Penultiman. Planet of the Nerds. Project Cryptid, that's a decent one. But yeah. This was fun though. I really enjoyed it. I was debating on these when I seen the first one, but I was really glad I did pick it up. Ended up being better than I expected. Really want to check out the movie. Hopefully, I can see that within the next month or so. I don't know what platform it's going to come out on. But yeah, that's our show for today. I'm not going to keep rattling on because otherwise I will hit the hour mark and half my show will just be me rattling about a bunch of useless shit. uh, so keep following under the Cowl of MS. Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, give us those likes. Uh, leave a comment. I'll comment back. Check out our Crimson Cowl Comic Club podcast with a bunch of our friends get together and just talk about whatever comics we read that week, and sometimes have a comic that we all read that we talk about, our group pick. Sometimes we do creator interviews. Also, check out the Monday 5 p.m. Central comic book claim sales that we do. So far, it's just me, Aaron, and Dan doing it on Psychotronic Squirt Gun on his YouTube channel, and Cicada Sonic. Dan sells with us on there. We take turns, usually take about an hour apiece to do them. The last 2 weeks it was on my channel. You can go rewatch them if you'd like, and if you see something that wasn't claimed live or claimed in the comments, try and claim it. I had one or two people on this last claim sale send their claim comment through email to me, which you can do through dragongks@yahoo.com. Um, but it's nicer if you leave it in the comments. That way other people see what's been claimed so they don't have to claim it and be denied it because it's already gone. So, yeah, check those out. And then I've been making appearances on the Crazy Hungarian Friday night show. I want to say 9 p.m. Central Time. It starts, and we just shoot shit about whatever. Uh, Usually have up to 6 people just talking about whatever and showing off whatever comics we want, taking turns showing off things, bragging about what we got. A lot of us have the same items because that's what you do. If there's good comics out there, lots of people get them. But yeah, that's it for today. I know it wasn't a grand show, but still got through some fun stuff and lots of my annoying rants. Everybody take care, and we will talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.